All right, so we're continuing with Chromebook accessibility. So one of our biggest needs is how to manage text to speech. And this grouping of videos is going to cover a comparison of Chromevox versus text to speech. They they're very different from one another. One is like a runaway train right now and needs a lot of improvements, and the other one gives you more control over what you're doing um, and how you're using it. So this is me in the bottom right hand corner. I'm Eileen Fernandez Parker, and I am with Cultivating the Learning. So here we go. So who could benefit from the text to speech features? Well, for sure, pre-K to 2 emerging readers can. Um, Especially with remote learning, it's especially difficult for teachers to practice with students, to take them to the kidney table, to work with them in small groups of 2s and 3s and 4s. So um, this feature might help those emerging readers. Struggling readers at higher levels for sure could benefit from this because we're caught in that catch-22 of I might be a social studies teacher and I'm not grading the student on reading. I'm grading the student on his or her knowledge of social studies. So I have to find a way to help him or her get the information that they need. So the text to speech can help those children to learn just as much. You've got your ESOL and your ELL students who are just learning English, so they are probably on the same level as a pre-K to 2 emerging reader. And then you just sometimes can have fatigued eyes, right? And sometimes it's just nicer to have an article read to you. So it's accessibility can be for all ages and people without disabilities, people with disabilities. What's nice is that accessibility now is turning into features that can help all kinds of people. All right. So our options right now on the Chromebook are Chromevox, which some people have already tried out. There is a Chromevox extension, but you don't need the extension if you just turn it on here. You can also enable Select to Speak, which is actually going to give you more control over what is spoken to you. And then you've got text to speech voice settings, which enables you to work on the pace of the voice, the pitch, and the volume. And then you can also have fun with it by choosing like an Australian accent or a British accent. So that's where student empowerment comes in because why not? Right? Why not let them do it? My son always chooses the Australian voice for his Siri on his phone just because it's fun. So why not? Okay, now the learning targets for this are that you can locate the speech to text accessibility settings shortcut and that you can use the search plus S feature to turn text for speech on. And you can turn on the feature to highlight each word as it is spoken. So that's incredibly important for our readers because they can see the word that is being spoken and it's highlighted. So that's a really nice feature. And you can adjust the rate, the pitch, and the volume, and that you can also choose the English voice that you prefer. So here we go. We're going to go down to our system menu. And now that you have the accessibility shortcut here, I want to show you two different things. One, when you click on it, you can turn things on and off by clicking right here, and you can see that. I'm going to turn that back off quickly. Right here, this gear right here saves you from having to do 5 steps to get to accessibility. So I'm going to show you the 5 steps first. So if I click here, and then I go up to the gear here, and then I click on advanced, and then I click on accessibility, I can do all of those steps just by clicking here, clicking on the accessibility, and then clicking the gear inside the accessibility pop-up, and it takes me straight there, okay? Now we're going to look at Chromevox first, okay? When I turn this on, you hear that gadunk? It's already turning on. It's tick-tocking. It almost has a mind of its own. So when I hover over words, it might start picking up on them. If I click on
Chromevox menus.
This has its own menus, and when you click on that, they're expansive, like crazy expansive.
And jump. Go to beginning of the current row. Go to end of the current column. Go.
All right, so I'm just going to get out of that, and I'm going to say, for right now, I think it's better for us to leave Chromevox turned off. I think that Chromevox might work better with somebody who has additional hardware that connects to the Chromebook that actually reads the whole page. And this is more like for a person who is actually blind, because it'll say header 1, it'll say table, it'll read to you what's attached to an image. So if you have a child, a student who is blind, then I would look into Chromevox more seriously. But for right now, for our struggling readers, we're going to go with select to speak. So we're going to turn this on first. And then we're going to go into these optional settings here. So we're going to click on those text to speech settings. And right here is where you can select your voice. And the default voices only have the English American voice. And I'm going to show you later on where you can add other voices. But for right now, that's all we need. This is where you've got more text-to-speech settings. So when we click on that, this is where you can change the rate, the pitch, the volume, and this is student preference. So we want to let the students find that, and they can play around with it for empowerment. Give them the power to change things the way they like them. So here again, you can choose a voice from the standard voices, and this is where you can listen to see if it's clear.
Hi there, I'm your text-to-speech voice.
Now a lot of the men are not, they don't sound clear. And even though it says Polish, it doesn't read in Polish. So let's see what happens. You see, it's kind of a little bit crazy. So I'm going to go back to the English. The females tend to sound more clear than the males, just as a heads up. All right, now, here's where you've got your basic, you've got your other Englishes. So let's try Great Britain. Yes, here we go. English, speak English, Caribbean, or Great Britain. Let's see. And I'm going to try it now.
Hi there, I'm your text-to-speech voice.
See how the male doesn't sound as good as the female? And I don't know why. We can try Scotland.
Hi there, I'm your text-to-speech voice.
It's the same. Australia isn't in here right now. Okay, so Australia is usually good. But again, the females, for some reason, are clearer than the males. This is where down here you can add more voices. So you have to install them. So we can scroll down. Here's English Australia, and now I can install it. I can do United Kingdom. So certain ones are built in, right? And then others you can just add as you want to. So I probably wouldn't send the kids in this deep, but again, Australia is kind of fun. So I'm going to click back over here. So we're out of the text-to-speech settings now. And underneath, here is where you can turn highlighting on, which is so important for those emerging readers and even struggling readers to help them recognize words as they see them. So here you can choose, or the child can choose, the color that they want the words to be highlighted in. And if you have students with visual perception issues, or if they're colorblind, the color here might matter, right? So I'm going to leave it at green. and then shade background content. I'm just going to do one setting at a time. So what I want to do now is I want to show you how this works. So I'm going to click on my tray, and select to speak is turned on. Okay, now I'm going to go to a Google Doc, and you have to highlight the words that you want. And then you're going to hit the search button, which is the button on a Chromebook with a magnifying glass on it. So you have to hold that down and then add the letter S.
Nice opening. The branded slide looks good. Can you add a subtitle? There is no why stated. Why would a teacher want to use Google Meet?
Now, you hit Search S to turn it on, and you hit Search S to turn it off. Okay? It will only highlight what you have selected. So the students have a lot more control over it. So it's not just reading everything all over the page. So this should work in Edgenuity as well. I'm going to go to News ELA, and I'm going to show you what happens here. I can highlight this section. I can hit Search S.
Law. How a dog became mayor of a California town.
Notice how it is highlighting it in green. It puts a red border around it. So as students come down, and with a Chromebook, it might be hard for students to select text. So I'm gonna share some shortcuts with you. You can triple click. So a double click will highlight one word. A triple click will highlight the entire paragraph. Just select just that one word.
Mighty.
And hit Search S. If they want the whole paragraph, it's a triple click. 1, 2, 3.
The mayor Idlewild.
Okay, and this says you can also press and hold the search key or tap the select to speak icon near your profile image to make a selection. So let's look at that. In this area, you've got this voice or sound icon. So if I go to News ELA and I click on this voice,
The mayor of Idlewild, California, was born into public service, according to his top aide. He took office at just 11.
Now, I like this button the best, and this is why. When I click on it, it allows me to click and drag, and I can put this pink box
The mayor of
around
Idlewild, California, was born into public service,
around what I want to be read. Now, your students just you have to click on it first, and then you click and drag. And
Mayor
then
Maximus Mighty Dog Muller 2 is a 6-year-old golden retriever on a mission.
All right, so students have multiple options, which is important because they all have different issues, and they've got different strengths and weaknesses. Some might have reading difficulties and physical difficulties with manipulating a mouse. So we have to figure out different ways to be able to help them. So this is really 3 different options. Okay. So now what I need you to do is I need you to go in and practice. I need you to turn it on. I need you to turn it off, change the features, but only change one feature at a time, because if you do multiples, you don't really know which one gave you the effect that you wanted or didn't want. Okay? So good luck.